The Weld tool will combine overlapping objects into a single object. Weld can be applied to many types of stitches, but fill stitches must usually be used. The properties of the topmost object will generally be applied to all. If I drag a bounding box around this first set of objects and click on Weld, all objects are now combined into one, and the step fill was applied because that was the topmost object. If I select the outline stitches and apply Weld, nothing happens. The objects are individual objects and nothing has changed. However, I can select the objects, convert them into a fill stitch, then weld, and then change them to an outline. These outline objects that have both stem stitch and back stitch will not weld, but all the objects are turned into a stem stitch as a result of weld being applied. The combination of ripple fills will create an interesting object when welded. Some objects might not do what you expect. For example, these are all color blended objects. When I select them and apply Weld, a gradient fill is applied, but the color blending effect disappears. When I weld this object that has 3D globe, the 3D globe remains in the uppermost object, but it is not applied to the adjoining object. This object is a satin outline with a step fill. When this is welded, a step fill is applied to both objects, but the hole is not filled in with the outline. Weld can also be used with stitch files. This is not a grade A design, and when it's selected, it is grouped. So I'm first going to ungroup it. Now when I click on this fill, you can see how it's all segmented. I can hold down the Control key and select multiple parts of this fill and then apply Weld, and now it is all one object. So when stitch files are broken apart into separate adjoining objects, Weld can be used to merge these objects back together. This tool can also be used with auto-digitized items that, when digitized, they're separate items. Weld can also be used when combining cut files. These are two digitized circles. When I select these objects and click on Weld, they're now welded into one object. Cut work can then be applied to this object by going to Cut Work and Stump Work and adding a cut work border.